Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be building my turtles' new home. And their new home is going to be in the form of a new 125-gallon pond. And this is the new pond. It is absolutely enormous. It takes about half of my living room up. So just to give you some size comparison, I'm gonna go get my turtles and put them inside there. But before we do that, this is my turtles' current setup. This is a 50-gallon tank that I've had them in their whole lives for about 6 to 7 years, and this is going to be a 2.5 times upgrade. It is going to be huge, it is going to be crazy, and they are finally going to get a dock because they do not have one. I have this floating thing here. It's this right here, but they always sunk it because they got too big, and I've just never put another one in there. Thankfully, they've held on quite well. There is some scale rot, but it is not too bad. This one almost has nothing on their shell. That species is mostly aquatic. But let's go and show you the comparison. And these are my turtles in their new turtle pond. It is an insane difference. And they're going to have eventually this where this comes out, and we're gonna make it a square, and it's gonna be completely land just for them to bask. But for the first bit, we're going to fill up about to here. We're going to fill up right there. And this is going to be mostly land. We're going to build them a platform so they can get up right here. And eventually we are going to fill up all the way, and they're going to have this big area. But since we cannot build the frame first, when we do want to get them out of that 50-gallon, so we are just going to fill up right here. And this is going to be about 80 to 100 gallons, this area right here. So it's still going to be an upgrade, and it's going to get bigger eventually too. And as you guys hopefully know, with a bigger tank comes a bigger filters. And I actually already have the filter, so I'm going to show you that now. Sorry about the background noise, but this is that bigger filter. And as you can probably see, it's got that water buildup on it. And that's because I actually had this filter about 2 years ago. And I had it working in that tank for about a day or two. And the primary motor just decided to break. And we ordered a new one. But it just didn't come. It never came, so it deleted the order after 3 months. But hopefully we are going to be able to get that motor going. My dad's going to install it, and hopefully we can have it for the big new tank. And you then might be asking yourself, if I knew the tank was too small, why didn't I do this years and years ago? Well, the reason is because I haven't had money, or my dad hasn't had money for years. Neither did my mom, so I couldn't do anything really with these guys. And when I got these guys, my family was in a stable position, and something catastrophic would have had to happen for that to go wrong. That something did go catastrophic. And we just got the bad end of the stick. I didn't have money. My family didn't have money to upgrade the turtles' tank, so we just kept them in that 50-gallon, and we've never had not enough money where we haven't been able to feed them or change their filters or whatever. We've always been able to feed them and care for them and keep them alive, just not to spend I don't know, $1,000 on getting them a new tank. So that's why we're doing it now, because I got Christmas money. My dad's getting, good money from his job. And, that happens a lot where people buy reptiles. They don't know how big they're going to get. So they buy this teeny tiny little tortoise, and then it becomes a massive sulcata tortoise that weighs 120 pounds, and they don't know what to do with it. But I knew how long these guys were going to live. I know how big they were going to get, but something wrong just happened, and I couldn't, perceive that happening in the future. I was also about 9, so do with that what you will. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. And since they're going to live 25 to 50 years, I didn't want to get rid of them because I couldn't get them a bigger tank for a couple of years because I knew they were going to live for so long, and I could take care of them. I could keep them alive. So I didn't want to get rid of them. There was a time where I thought I was, but fortunately I didn't, and I still have them now, and they're going to get a huge upgrade now. And it's going to be the best thing in all their lives. But this is going to take a couple weeks to set up, probably a couple weeks itself to get that motor for that filter, to fill up the tank, get it good and going, get the decor for it. So this is weeks before all that's going to happen. But I got the tank, and it's looking good so far. So as it turns out, we can't buy a new motor because this thing is the motor. It is all wired to this piece of plastic. It's all wired together, hardwired. There's no individual component. This is all it. And when we tried to order, I guess we just tried to order a new top or something, and that's why probably they didn't send it. So we're just gonna throw this whole thing away. Bye-bye. So now we need a new filter. But in the meantime, I'm gonna fill this pond because the filter arrives tomorrow. But first, we gotta wipe it down. For the first little bit here, you'll see me moving around the pond on the platform, and that's because once this pond is filled with water, it's going to be almost impossible to move. So I got to make sure it's in the perfect spot. And now it's been a couple of days since I filled the pond, so let's check out how the pond's doing. So something I noticed is that down here, it's bowing out a little bit. Well, it's quite a bit actually. And this side is also falling down compared to this side, where it is not. It has stayed pretty much the same. And it's also bowing out right here as well. But the back of this thing looks pretty much the same. And for the bit I've been away, I also got the filter and more stuff for the pond that I'll show you now. And now I got the filter, I got this stand for the lamp, I got some more rocks that we're going to need to fill the bottom of the pond, and I got this rock, which I'm going to be using for them to bask on, right on that side since it's not blowing out, or down like the other one is. So now, we put this nozzle on the filter, the top's closed of it, so no water comes out from there. We also put a pot down there so that that side doesn't fall down anymore. And now I'm just going to go back there, plug the filter in, and put it in the pond. Here we go. Hopefully this works. It's working. Nice. Perfect. There's a death trap. Now the next part we're going to do is add in the rocks. But first we got to wash the rocks as always. We got all of our rocks clean. Now let's add it to the pond. There is a lot of space to be filled out, but we do have like a pretty big mountain here where we could fill in this side and somewhere over there, somewhere over here. And I'm also going to be adding the turtle's old rocks, so that should hopefully fill the rest of this out. Now we can just add this rock right here. It's almost perfect. We get the lamp set up right here with the stand. It's going to be great. And this is coming together so well. But now I'm just going to put some of the turtle's old water in here and let it cycle for a day or two. For some reason, I don't have an introduction to this part, but basically all I'm doing is putting the turtles in their pond so I can drain their tank and take out their rocks. And this is my yellow belly slider turtle. He does not like to be held. He is much less cooperative than the other turtle. But he's actually doing quite well right now. So let's put him in the pond. There we go. First one down. One to go. And this is my pink belly side neck turtle. They get the name Pink Belly because their belly is pink. And no turtles like to be flipped on their belly, so let's just put her in. That looks so good. now we get to start the absolutely exhilarating process of draining this whole tank out just to get some rock out. So let's do it. I'm also experimenting with the 0.5 feature. It looked kind of crumbly on my phone, but you know, we'll see how it goes. It's easier to get stuff in frame when I don't have somebody to film and that my tripod isn't that tall. So now I'm just gonna let it siphon out purely water because I've got most of the crap out. And now that the tank's drained, we're gonna put the rock in a bucket and bring it upstairs and fill up the pond. But there's not gonna be a time up to that because I was extremely bored siphoning out all that water. So now we're gonna add the last bit of rock. Yep. While the water clears up from their old rock, I'll tell you what I did with this place. So, we got this rinky-dink little setup for the light. It was so annoying to get this thing to face right. And we had a brick here that it actually toppled over because the cords are barely long enough to get back to there. Now it's in an alright spot where it shines on there pretty well. And I got the stump from their old tank. And I got this little plant. And this will all eventually go away when I get a big piece of wood or some more rocks for them to climb on. They also got their heater in the back, which they like to chill around. They did this in their last tank, and I'm sure they'll do it now. But now I'm gonna cut to when it's all nice and clear. Now the water's cleared up a bit, and you can see the turtles a whole lot better now. And of course, this is only like the first stage. I plan to get a big piece of driftwood, put it in here somewhere. I plan to get those live floating plants and some fish in here, like some mollies or platies. But for now, I'm just gonna show them their basking spot right here because they haven't had one of those in years. So I just want to make sure they know that it's there and that they can use it. And then we're gonna end it off with a bit of a feeding. All right, here we go. I don't know how this is going to go with grabbing them. They seem to like that corner a whole lot. Alright, that was easier than I thought it would be. And obviously I do expect them to just run away from there. At first. But just for them to feel the warmth and know that that's a hot spot where they can go. That's the main goal here. As you can see, they pretty much just like dig in this corner. I'm not really sure what that's about, but that's what they've been mostly doing the whole time. It's actually really interesting how the pink belly stayed up there for so long, seeing how that is the more aquatic species. But you could also see how they kind of got stuck trying to get off of it, so there's definitely going to be some adjustments made. But now we're going to try and feed them, and the food is probably going to float away, but they'll get around to it eventually, I'm sure. Going right after it. I guess no matter what, if he's in a new environment or what, he's still going to be chasing after his food. But the pink belly, not so much. Or will I eat my words here? Doesn't look like it. Thank you guys for coming along and watching me do this. And of course, all this is subject to change. This is just, to get them out of that 50-gallon. Because obviously, this empty 225-gallon pond is much better than a 50-gallon tank where they don't even have the option to get out the water. So, this is just the first part of this pond. And obviously, we got this weird little setup here where we got a brick on a pot and we got the food on the ground with holding up the lamp. Not the greatest setup ever, but of course, now they're in a much better place and it's going to get even better. So see you guys in the next one.